term rough-in generally refers to the initial stage of construction where the infrastructure for various systems is installed before the walls are finished. For a single-family dwelling of 2,000 square feet, the accepted work to be performed under rough-in typically includes framing, plumbing, electrical, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and insulation. Firstly, framing includes the installation of studs, joists, rafters, and sheathing to create the structural framework of the building. Secondly, plumbing includes the installation of water supply and drainage pipes, fixtures, and appliances. Thirdly, electrical includes the installation of electrical panels, wiring, conduits, and boxes. Fourthly, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning includes the installation of ductwork, registers, and equipment for heating, cooling, and ventilation. Fifthly, insulation includes the installation of insulation in walls, ceilings, and floors to improve energy efficiency. The term electrical rough-in is not explicitly defined in the National Electrical Code. However, the National Electrical Code provides general guidance on the installation of electrical systems in residential buildings. The following tasks are typically included in electrical rough-in. Firstly, installation of electrical service entrance and main panel. Secondly, installation of wiring, conduits, and boxes for outlets, switches, and fixtures. Thirdly, rough-in of light fixtures and ceiling fans. Fourthly, installation of smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. Fifthly, verification of proper grounding and bonding. The specific scope of work for rough-in may vary depending on the local building codes, permit requirements, and the specifications of the building design. It is important to consult with licensed contractors and refer to the project blueprints for specific details. When performing electrical rough-in work, it is important to adhere to safety guidelines and local electrical codes. Always disconnect power before working on electrical systems. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and eye protection. Use properly insulated tools and equipment. Ensure all wiring and connections are secure and properly grounded. Follow the National Electrical Code and any local amendments. Obtain necessary permits and inspections from local authorities. Consult with a qualified electrician for any complex or unfamiliar tasks. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous if not performed correctly. Always prioritize safety and follow best practices to prevent electrical shocks, fires, and other hazards. During the electrical rough-in phase, a number of key components are installed to establish the foundation for the electrical system. These components include the service entrance, which brings power from the utility grid to the building. The main electrical panel, which distributes power to various circuits throughout the house, is also installed. Wiring is run throughout the building to supply power to outlets, switches, lighting fixtures, and appliances. Conduits are used to protect wiring in certain locations, such as underground or in exposed areas. Electrical boxes are installed at each outlet, switch, and fixture location to provide a safe and secure enclosure for wiring connections. Grounding and bonding systems are established to protect against electrical shock and ensure the safe operation of electrical equipment. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are installed to provide early warning of potential hazards. Proper planning and execution of the electrical rough-in phase are essential for a safe and reliable electrical system. It is important to carefully consider the layout of the electrical system and to select the appropriate wiring and components for each application. All work should be performed in accordance with the National Electrical Code and local electrical codes. Inspections should be performed by qualified electrical inspectors to ensure that the work meets all applicable requirements. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your electrical rough-in is performed safely and correctly. This will provide a solid foundation for the electrical system in your home and help to protect your family from electrical hazards. The electrical rough-in phase sets the stage for all subsequent electrical work. A well-executed rough-in will simplify the installation of fixtures, devices, and appliances in later stages of construction. It also reduces the risk of costly rework or safety hazards down the line. During the rough-in, it is crucial to label all wiring and conduit runs clearly. This makes it easier to identify circuits and troubleshoot problems later on. Accurate labeling saves time and effort during the final electrical connections and reduces the likelihood of errors. It is also advisable to take photographs of the wiring and conduit installations before the walls are covered up. These photos serve as a valuable reference for future maintenance or modifications to the electrical system. They can help to identify the location of hidden wiring and prevent accidental damage during renovations. In addition to the specific tasks outlined earlier, the electrical rough-in may also include the installation of low-voltage wiring for systems such as cable television, telephone, and data networks. These systems typically require separate wiring and connections from the standard electrical system. It is important to coordinate the installation of low-voltage wiring with the electrical rough-in to ensure that all wiring is properly routed and terminated. The electrical rough-in is a critical step in the construction of a new home or the renovation of an existing one. It involves the installation of the basic electrical infrastructure that will power the home and its various systems. By following the guidelines and best practices outlined in this discussion, you can ensure that your electrical rough-in is performed safely, correctly, and in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. Remember to consult with qualified electricians and building inspectors to ensure that your electrical system meets all requirements and provides reliable and safe operation for years to come. Also, remember the NEC does not explicitly define electrical rough-in, and it's not a specifically defined term with a precise legal meaning within the code itself. The NEC focuses on providing safety standards and requirements for electrical installations, and the definition of rough-in is more of an industry term that describes a particular stage of the construction process. So while the NEC sets the rules for how electrical work must be done, it doesn't dictate the exact scope of work that constitutes a rough-in. That scope can vary based on local practices, project specifications, and agreements between contractors and homeowners. However, the NEC does influence the rough-in process by setting requirements for things like wiring methods, grounding, and overcurrent protection, all of which must be addressed during the rough-in phase. In some jurisdictions, local building codes might offer a more specific definition of what's expected during an electrical rough-in inspection. These local codes often reference the NEC but may add additional requirements or clarify expectations for inspectors and contractors. This is why consulting with local authorities and licensed professionals is crucial, as they will be familiar with the specific regulations in your area. To summarize, the term electrical rough-in isn't explicitly defined in the NEC, but the NEC requirements heavily influence what work is performed during this stage. Local codes and accepted industry practices further shape the scope of the rough-in, making it essential to consult with local experts and follow project blueprints for detailed guidance. Let's expand on the key tasks typically involved in an electrical rough-in. First, the installation of the electrical service entrance involves connecting the building's electrical system to the utility company's power grid. This includes installing the service drop or underground service lateral, which brings power to the building. The service entrance also includes the meter base, which measures the amount of electricity used by the building, and the service disconnect, which allows the power to be shut off in case of an emergency. Secondly, the installation of the main electrical panel, also known as the load center, is where the electrical power is distributed to different circuits throughout the building. The main panel contains circuit breakers, which protect each circuit from overload and short circuits. The size of the main panel depends on the electrical load of the building, which is determined by the number and type of appliances and equipment that will be used. Thirdly, wiring installation is a critical part of the electrical rough-in. This involves running wires from the main panel to all of the outlets, switches, lighting fixtures, and appliances in the building. The type of wire used depends on the application and the electrical code requirements. For example, non-metallic sheath cable NM cable, also known as Romex, is commonly used for residential wiring. Conduit is used to protect wiring in certain locations, such as underground or in exposed areas. Fourthly, the installation of electrical boxes is also important. Electrical boxes are installed at each outlet, switch, and fixture location to provide a safe and secure enclosure for wiring connections. Type of electrical box used depends on the application and the type of wiring being used. For example, plastic boxes are commonly used with NM cable, while metal boxes are often used with conduit. Fifthly, grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to protect against electrical shock. Bonding connects all of the metal parts of the electrical system together, which helps to equalize the voltage and reduce the risk of shock. Sixthly, the installation of smoke and carbon monoxide detectors is required by most building codes. Smoke detectors provide early warning of a fire, while carbon monoxide detectors provide early warning of carbon monoxide poisoning. These detectors should be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and the local building code. During the electrical rough-in, it is also important to consider the placement of outlets, switches, and lighting fixtures. Outlets should be located in convenient locations throughout the building, and switches should be located near entrances to rooms and hallways. Lighting fixtures should be placed to provide adequate illumination for all areas of the building. It is also important to consider the needs of people with disabilities when planning the electrical layout. For example, outlets and switches should be located at a height that is accessible to people in wheelchairs. The electrical rough-in is a complex process that requires careful planning and execution. It is important to hire a qualified electrician to perform this work and to ensure that all work is done in accordance with the National Electrical Code and local building codes. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your electrical system is safe, reliable, and meets all of your needs. The rough-in stage is also the time to install any specialized wiring, such as for home theaters, security systems, or smart home automation. Planning these systems in advance ensures that the necessary wiring is in place before the walls are finished. This avoids costly and disruptive retrofitting later on. Another crucial aspect of the electrical rough-in is ensuring proper labeling of all circuits. Each circuit breaker in the main panel should be clearly labeled to indicate which outlets, lights, or appliances it controls. This makes it much easier to identify and troubleshoot electrical problems in the future. Accurate labeling also helps prevent accidental shutdowns of critical equipment. In addition to labeling circuits, it is also important to document the location of all wiring runs and electrical boxes. This can be done by taking photographs or creating a detailed diagram of the electrical system. This documentation can be invaluable for future renovations, repairs, or additions to the electrical system. During the rough-in, it is also important to coordinate with other trades such as plumbers and HVAC contractors. This ensures that the electrical wiring does not interfere with other systems and that all work is done in a safe and efficient manner. For example, electrical wiring should be kept away from water pipes to prevent the risk of electrical shock. The electrical rough-in is not just about installing wires and boxes. It is also about planning for the future electrical needs of the home. This includes considering the potential for future additions, renovations, or the installation of new appliances. By planning ahead, you can ensure that the electrical system is adequate to meet your future needs. When selecting electrical boxes, it is important to choose the correct size and type for the application. Electrical boxes come in a variety of sizes and shapes, and each is designed for a specific purpose. For example, some electrical boxes are designed for use with ceiling fans, while others are designed for use with recessed lighting. It is also important to consider the material of the electrical box. Plastic electrical boxes are less expensive and easier to work with, but they are not as durable as metal electrical boxes. Metal electrical boxes are more expensive and require more skill to install, but they provide better protection for the wiring and are more resistant to fire. When running wiring, it is important to follow the National Electrical Code guidelines for wire fill. Wire fill refers to the number of wires that can be safely installed in an electrical box or conduit. Overfilling an electrical box or conduit can cause the wires to overheat and potentially start a fire. The National Electrical Code provides tables that specify the maximum number of wires that can be installed in different sizes of electrical boxes and conduits. It is important to consult these tables and follow the wire-fill guidelines to ensure that the electrical system is safe. When making connections, it is important to use the proper tools and techniques. Wire connectors should be used to join wires together, and they should be tightened securely to ensure a good electrical connection. Electrical tape should be used to insulate exposed wires and prevent electrical shock. All connections should be made inside of electrical boxes to protect them from damage and prevent accidental contact. The electrical roughing is a critical step in the construction process. It is important to take the time to plan carefully and to perform the work correctly. By following the guidelines and best practices outlined in this discussion, you can ensure that your electrical system is safe, reliable, and meets all of your needs. Remember to consult with qualified electricians and building inspectors to ensure that your electrical system meets all requirements and provides reliable and safe operation for years to come.